just to review where that's at and an update on that one. So that resident has had confirmation, has had communication with myself direct. And lastly, just because I'm going to keep it on here as an ongoing item, is the Ackworth school wall repairs. So there isn't any further update at this stage. As you updated in the last meeting, we're in contact with the existing headmaster, and we believe that there's going to be a change in headmaster, which will re-raise it again, and we'll keep re-raising that. So that was the public questions. Hopefully they've answered some of the questions that we got asked. In terms of the meeting and the councillor side of things, I'd sent out an email last week regarding questions on the lease of Ackworth School, the hanging baskets and the grounds maintenance by WMDC. Hopefully you guys have all received that. I've got two that are not on the notes for the councillors just to quickly run through. So I do now have the cemetery price list pre the 1st of May. 1st of May, sorry, where there was an increase by WMDC, so I'll send that out tomorrow now that I've got that for you guys to review, just to have a look at what the old prices were versus the new prices. And the only other one that I've got, and I'm going to more so send it out tomorrow for everybody to read and digest, is we had an open conversation about individual versus full council responsibility, who was liable from a finance point of view. YLCA have come back to me, and they've actually provided some really helpful guides and bits and pieces of how councils can be supported and what are reputable sources of information to use. So I'll send that out separately on an email so everybody can have a good read of it, and then if there's any questions after that, then come back to me direct. So they were my updates from last meeting.
Well, thanks very much for that, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8, to receive and approve the accounts to the end of May 23, which is 8 on your pack. A couple of minutes to read through. Has anybody got any questions or comments on the Councillor Marshall?
Can I just ask how the drop-in raffle, it pays what it does from gets from its raffle trust, is it?
Sorry,
it's on page 1,
yeah.
Receipts for months 2, 1505, it says drop-in raffle. Do they give the proceeds of their raffle trust?
Whereabouts is that?
It's on the first page, 339, 1505, third item, drop-in raffle, £37. How does that work? I just wondered. It's, so if they hold a raffle, they give it to us, do they?
I'd have to go and check that
Well,
one.
We've got to check.
Well, yes, it's actually, yeah,
Yeah.
it just looked, thank you.
I can take that away and come back.
Yeah. Anybody else got any comments or points to make on it? Can I take a proposal for that? Approval of minutes?
I propose we accept the, is that the raffle for?
Yeah.
That we accept the balance sheet as presented.
Second.
Can I just make a question, sorry, about Arthur J. Gallagher insurance, is that annual insurance, public liability?
Which page?
Sorry, page, Cashbook 4, and it's 19th of May 2023.
Is it page 341? Is that right?
Yeah.
341.
Yes.
341, yeah.
And what was it called, sorry, Susan?
Arthur J. Gallagher, 19th of May.
787.
I'd have to take that away as well, to write it on.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll try that.
Thanks very much.
Pending clarification of those two issues, whereas we've got a proposal and a second to accept the minutes as we see them. Can I take a show of hands on? Nine in favour, against, one against. Thank you very much. Item 9, the agenda to receive and approve the list of payments to be made to Parish account 17th July 23.
So the petty cash is attached to the back of that pack that we just had, and these are the pending payments as of to today. So you just keep them out, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, could I just call one item out, is that okay? Please, just for review. Can I just
Right,
through? There's one on here that is the Premier Electrical Supplies, that's the EV point. We were successful in gaining a government grant, so that's why that's been reduced by £350. So that's less than the proposal that we put forward.
Well done.
and that's actually been done today.
Yes, it was installed today. And practice in how to
It's
use
like
it.
signed on Monday's November, right?
Thursday.
Are there any points anybody wants to make on this petty cash? Thank you. Okay, now the proposal to accept and approve the list of payments and petty cash. The proposer is Sheriff's second council at all.
Yeah.
Can I show of hands all those in favour? I'm in favour, any against? One against. Thank you very much.
There's a signature to sign here, isn't there? Could I just ask for a signature on these? Is a signature? So that they've been approved, just get a signature on.
Just move on to item 10 on the agenda to receive burial rights, and there have been no burial rights received. We'll move on to item 11 to receive the minutes of the Village Amenities Committee meeting held on the 3rd of July and approve the recommendations within them. So that's item 11 in your pack.
Excuse me, Chair. Good night.
Good night, thank you.
Thank you.
want to make any comments? Or,
Can I just ask for a bit of clarity? During that meeting, I thought there was a discussion about future football pitch provision at Quarry Community Centre. But it felt like that was then contradicted by the recent finance and general purposes discussion saying that we'd have a wildflower meadow. Are we having both? Or, I mean, was there a proposal to have one, but then that was...
meeting, so
Maybe add a little bit of clarity on that. From my understanding, it hasn't yet been decided, but there's quite a lot of land there.
Yes.
So at the moment, it's the wildflower meadow. But part of the village amenities meeting in September, when we've got more information from Wakefield Council about the nature of needs, that'll provide us with more information of how we would potentially use that land in the future. That's my understanding, but there might be more historical information that somebody else might have.
I've been up there this morning on a meeting with architects. At the moment, it is grass, and they are planning to. At the moment, they're planning to. We've been concentrating on the building being ready and the surrounding area being ready. And I think the decision was taken a long time ago about the playing field area being used as a general field. The green area.
Well, there must be a lot of children up there wanting to run around.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of land up there as well, so there are issues about what we're going to use that land for at the moment, but we're focusing on getting the place in our hands, really, getting finished in our hands.
It seemed a bit odd, there was one discussion in one meeting.
Originally, way back, the plan was to have. The plan was for playing field, a football field, and a changing room. But we took the decision that we didn't. This is from the last council, that we didn't need another playing field and changing rooms because we've got facilities. I know some of the football teams might disagree, but we have got facilities we can upgrade and things like that. So, and it was also felt there'll be issues with the residents of the Strata estate if we because of the parking issues and things like that on match days. So at the moment the plan is to have it as a wildflower meadow in conjunction with Wakefield's sort of what green agenda or whatever. There's a name for it, I can't remember it now, but that's what we were talking about this morning. But work has to be done on it. We have to make a final decision on what we want doing with it, but that's in the future, really. Still.
So it's still up for discussion, really?
Yeah. Councillor Marsh.
In this pack of papers, I do notice that we've had to refuse a few teams to hosting a few teams. I can't remember exactly where. Just got back from. I was in Canterbury over the weekend, but I've managed to read these and come. So I can't tell you exactly where because I only read them once. But there is somewhere in here, all right, aren't I? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, sorry? I've not been involved in the discussion on that. I wasn't aware of the other decision that's been mentioned from the previous council, but that is just a point. We are refusing playing fields.
Stupid question, but from the point of view of the two teams who we talked about, would they need a football field there? Would they need a proper football field there if they need to use those facilities?
I mean, if we felt at the time when this was being built, if we'd have felt there was a need for a new football field, I mean, I think it was, to be honest, the suggestion came from Strata Homes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor Bolton, because you were involved in this. The suggestion came from Strata Homes that they were going to give us a football field and a changing room, and we then took it on ourselves to sort of actually decide what we wanted, and we felt that a community centre with play areas around it was more appropriate. Is that
Yes, yeah. And it was,
Yeah,
I mean, it's been a long time coming, this. I think it's been, ever since the Strata estate was first begun, this proposal, which was when, I don't know when it was, a long time ago,
Yeah.
this proposal's been out there, and things changed because at the point at which it was first offered to the parish council, I think we had too many teams and not enough space. Then a lot of the teams folded and we had too much space and not enough teams. Then more teams got going and so we have too many teams and not enough space. And that's just, you know, in the course of maybe 10, 12 years or so. And so, yeah, it's been a change of thing. We did at one point, I think it was in the course, it was during the period of the previous council, wasn't it? We had a number of residents from the Strata estate came to a meeting. That was when you were on the council, to say they were saying they didn't want to put a football pitch up there because of traffic, and there's lots of misunderstanding and misinformation on social media, as there often is. But it's been a fluid, changing situation, and I think it'll probably continue to be. So at some point we'll have to decide, won't we, what's the best thing to do.
I think from my point of view, as somebody who's been involved in the building of the thing and the council for 4.5 years, I think what we're wanting to do is not make any decisions on it. If we go ahead and say it's going to be a playing field, it's going to be a football field, sorry, and we'll fill it without any kind of discussion with the people on Strata Estate or people around there who are directly involved. Because it's been a fluid thing, it's been happening for years, it's been being built, well, it's been finished, almost finished for like, 18 months now, I think, like the first time we went up to have a look at it. And today, I've been on a snagging visit with the architects, and it's still not finished. So, it's kind of going on, and I don't think we've got to make a concrete decision before we've got the place in our hands, and then we can sort of move on that. Councillor Marshall.
Well, right from the work, I was in that parish council, and right from the first time I went to Strata to look at the plans, what they had was a football pitch and a building, community building, and that's what the site manager said, well, it's on my plans, that's what's going to happen. So that's been long-standing. But you're quite right in that the situations change, and of course, football particularly, I mean, we've now got all the children being involved, haven't we? Not just the boys, all the girls as well. So it used to be a pretty uneven use of space because only the boys more boys tended to use it. But now we've got this girls thing coming. So it is, I'm just saying, you're quite right, it's fluid and we need to take their wishes into account, but also the wishes of the village, because it always was down as a pitch, right from the word go.
Yeah.
I don't have a definite,
No.
I'm just bringing in, we don't want to shut our girls down playing football, particularly, do we?
All I can say, it's a flat piece of field, so it would lend itself to being a football. If we felt in the future that this was needed, we could make it into a football field. That's
sometimes sort of often committees, decisions get made and we're told they're made, and it's not really been made by us, so we need to put our thoughts in these meetings.
Okay.
Just one of those points. Is that okay? Councillor Marshall, just to let you know, it wasn't an outright objection to the request that came in from the football and the rugby. Some of their requirements we couldn't quite meet, so we said we'd work with them for the future and we would keep talking to them about availability. So it's just to be clear that we didn't send any
I'm not
objections.
Criticising.
No, I know, I just want to be clear
it's
for
just
everyone.
we need to look for the future
Absolutely.
and try and keep up with changes, don't we?
Thank you.
So in light of the discussion, are there any more points anybody wants to make on the minutes of the Village Meetings Committee? Can I take a proposal to approve and recommend?
Move it.
Councillor Balfour moves it, seconded by Councillor Malcolm. Malcolm, second. I can say Malcolm. Speak. Can I take a show of hands then? All those in favour? against? One against.
So would you want me to sign those as a standing chair? Thank
Yeah.
you.
So item 12, to receive the minutes of the Finance and General Purpose Committee meeting held on the 3rd of July and approve the recommendation within them. So again, that's number 12 in your pack.
Out of interest, not something that occurred to me during the meeting, do we, as we do with the flower show, also need planning permission for the exercise equipment?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
As with the tub that you mentioned that needed planning permission, do we also need planning permission for the exercise equipment platform and things?
I don't know. You need to find out about that.
I would imagine that's been taken care of, but I will double check because I don't know the answer for sure. I'll take that away. And what about the Dango Way exercise equipment?
Yes.
It will need some permissions because it's not our land.
Of course, yeah, we would need permission from Wakeham there because, yeah, we need permission for the, that's not our land, is it? I'll just add my little bit to that. As I've just said on item 5.1 on the agenda, I would work alongside Steve Wells Associates, and I've been out this morning with Emma, the events organiser, and had a look, a supposedly final look around the building because it's almost ready.